Now we are taking some terms which comes under environmental ethics. Okay, so the first term is anthropocentrism. What is meant by this? As per this view, animals, plants or organism have no intrinsic value. They have no intrinsic value. They deserve protection only if they serve human purposes as resource or source of joy. So understand clearly, anthropocentrism, we can say it is a school of thought in environmental ethics which is concerned with only anthro. Okay, the word itself is saying anthropocentrism means it is concerned with only anthro, it implies humans. So it is concerned with only humans. So nature is not regarded as equal to humans. Here this view says that animals, plants, organisms, they have no intrinsic value. They have value only when, or we can say they deserve protection only when they serve some human purpose. Only then they have value, otherwise no value. Okay, so in other words, it claims that we possess obligation to respect the environment for the sake of human well-being and prosperity. So understand clearly. Now we are talking about global warming, climate change, so on. Why we are talking about all those things now? Because the environmental changes, climate change have started impacting our life. Then only we are focusing on this issue. But this climate change or global warming has started from past several hundred years, from approximately industrialization days. At that time we were not concerned with those things. Why? Because at that time the environmental issues was not impacting our human lives, it was impacting lives of other organism. But we are focusing on such issues only at the present time because it has started impacting our life. This is what anthropocentrism view is saying. You are, or we are studying this environmental ethics, we are studying environment, we are doing some actions about environment, so and on, only because it has started impacting our life. If it was not impacting our life, then we would not have concern with such issues. This is what anthropocentrism view is saying. Okay, but there are several other views also. One view also says that, one view is pathocentrism, and what it says that, or it assumes that all life is of same origin. So if all lives are of same origin, it implies that other beings, other organisms are derived from the same thing from which humans have been derived. So this view is taking all the species at the same level. And it is further saying that all living beings have the capacity to experience pain. All human beings have capacity to experience pain. Therefore, we must protect other beings also. This is what pathocentrism says. The next view is of holism. What it says, it is the doctrine that states that whole is more than the sum of its parts. Whole is more than the sum of its part. Understand clearly. This concept is very much relevant to our technical field. In our engineering or in technical field, what we do is to analyze, to understand any phenomena. We break that phenomena into various different parts, and we study those parts separately. And by studying those parts separately, we try to conclude, or we try to theorize about that complete issue. But this concept of holism is saying that you cannot do like this. That is, if you are breaking down something, you are breaking down a whole into different parts, then when you will sum up all these parts, then this will not be equal to the whole. That is, you have to take whole thing as a whole only. You should not break into different parts. This is what this concept is saying. And when we apply this concept to environment, then we will say that, or this holism concept will say that you cannot reduce whole nature into different resources. Human as a different thing, non-living resource as a different things, living resources are different things. No, you cannot do such thing. You have to understand, or you have to take, or you have to accept environment as a whole. Environment as a whole. This is what holism is saying. Okay. The next view is of biocentrism. What it says that all living beings have intrinsic value and a will of life. So biocentrism, we can say, is exactly opposite to anthropocentrism, because it was saying that other beings, other organisms have no intrinsic value, but it is saying that other beings have intrinsic value. Okay. The next term is econocentrism. Econocentrism. What it says, that ecosystems forms a community and hence act as a living being. So understand, biocentrism says that all living beings have intrinsic value. That is, all the species which are living. So plants have intrinsic values, animals have intrinsic values. But econocentrism is a step higher. It is saying that living beings and also non-living beings, that is water, air, and all the natural components together, that is non-living components, water, air, atmosphere, land, soil, together with the organism, they whole comprises as living entity, living being. So ecosystem is itself a living entity. You cannot break down into non-living and living components. So now I hope you will be able to understand this holism concept also. Holism is related to econocentrism, that is, you have to take the whole ecosystem, the whole nature as one entity. Okay. And the last term which is related to environmental ethics is deep ecology. What is meant by this? The term deep implies asking deeper questions concerning why and how. Further, it is concerned with fundamental questions about the impacts of human life rather than with a narrow view of ecology as a branch of biological science. Okay, so it relates to fundamental questions about the impacts of human life, and we are not restricted with only biological science view. Up till the present time, until the present time, we are taking environment as a separate thing, and we are just taking how, or we are analyzing how human is impacting the environment. So we are analyzing all such issues from biological point of view, but deep ecology relates to the fundamental questions. So try to understand or correlate it with meta ethics. Meta ethics says, or it deals with what is morality, what is value, such type of question. So similarly, deep ecology tried to answer or try to develop the questions and their answer, exactly what should be done or why and how this should be done. Okay, so it tries to question the very basic aspects of environmental ethics. Okay, so it, or we can say deep ecology, or when we study deep ecology, then we try to understand biocentrism, econocentrism, holism, etc., etc., because understand that all these are the views how you relate environment with human. Econocentrism is saying that ecosystem itself a living entity. Biocentrism is saying that living beings have intrinsic value. Anthropocentrism is saying that only humans have intrinsic value. So these are the fundamental questions, and we have to arrive at one answer. Only then we can tackle with environmental or climate change. So deep ecology, we can say it is that branch in which all such questions are being asked. So in that branch only we will study all these terms. So I hope you have now completely understood the environmental ethics. So this was the final ethical issue that we have taken. Now we will take various questions, practice questions, as well as the previous year question to understand the principles or theory that we have studied. Thank you.